Welcome back, everybody, to the Irish Furian. I am the Irish Furian. So um, we'll do this again and see who pops in the room. We'll have a little chat. Uh, just taking it easy. I've just come back from town after doing some shopping. And yeah, I'll play a little guitar. I'm going to tell you about my DIY project. We'll see who comes in. If there's anybody of any of the lads who are in the know and with the good info come in, then we can have a chat about that. And actually, a friend of mine came into the chat the other day, and I should have actually talked to her online live here about stuff, because she actually is quite a knowledgeable person and quite clued in when it comes to issues. Good afternoon, Colin. Nice drumming, by the way. So yeah, what was the reason you were on the radio station that time with the drumming? If you don't mind me asking, if it's okay to play. If it's not okay to say why in public, then don't. But you know, if you can. So I've just tuned my guitar. This time, I think I'll keep the mic a bit further away. Or what I might do is keep the mic in the same place, and I'll just go into. I think I can still go into settings for the mic here, and I'll just drop down the over its limit. It's been a while since I've done audio mixing and mastering, so default. Oh, hang on, default. Take your headset. Okay, now I've changed to. Okay, sorry about that. I dropped out. I'm still getting used to the way this streaming works across the Chrome. Oh, platform. Anyway, I'll say that right. So basically, StreamYard is streaming through Chrome, Google Chrome. It's not an app. So I had to also go back in and just check the microphone there. And as I did, I dropped out. You know, you're welcome. You're welcome, Colin. So we'll see who else comes in the room. I'll give this, let's say, as usual, 20 minutes. And if we can get some chat going about some relevant topics, about what we think is happening in certain areas, and that would be really good. If anybody who wants to pop in, I'll just play away here for a bit. I remember the lyrics to that song I wrote. You know, My Eyes Are Shining. So see, I went into what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the mic off, because I think it was digitally clipping the last time when. Now, hopefully, that's still the sound is still okay there. Oh, it's going out of tune again. Oh, cool. All right. I should do this, really, shouldn't I? I haven't been doing this. I wasn't doing that the last two times. You can show people's comments up on the screen. Nice. Nice one, Colin. Well done. A fellow musician. All right. So yeah, I remember the lyrics, the first lyric. And I was saying that the last day, that if you miss a lyric, you haven't played a song for a long time, even one of your own songs, you end up changing it wrong, and you end up relearning it wrong, and you go forward with the wrong version of a song, even if it's one of your own that you've played for a long time, you know. So any others want to pop in? I want to talk about relevant topics in a while to do with, we say, CV number 19, and also the Tune Babies thing. I want to talk about that as well for anybody. We get a few more in the room. We got 4 at the moment. My eyes are shining bright when you are here, through the fog, through the wall. My eyes are shining, here around you is love and warm by who you are. May you light the way with every word you say. Put that one up there. You go for it, Colin. You go for it. And this is the first lyric that I actually missed out the last day, which is together let's go walking, or even cycling to the market there. Bikes are fine, the lunch is there. Let's go cycling to the market there. Yeah, around you, love and more by who you are. Right, so, and then there's 2-3 more verses after that. All right, it's gas. Like, it's like I started playing music, it dropped down to, then I stopped playing. I started playing the music, it dropped down to 2 from 4 to 2. Stopped playing the music, and 1 came back up. Right. So definitely no music fans, those 2. Right? So yeah, I'll do a video later on, although it's starting to look like an uploadable video later on down by the stream that I go down to. Starting to look at the local cast again there now with the rain, but it might change, hopefully. So I'll head out in a while. What I'm going to do now is just going to go over there and start charging my bike battery, and it shouldn't show up in the audio on the stream there. All right. You might be able to hear that. You may not be able to hear that. So awesome. Oh yeah, Colin, how did that go? Can you hear the bike being charged, bike battery? The fan on the charger makes a really weird growling noise, you know. But yeah, so you had talks with your family to research facts. That's really good, man. Well done. That's good, you know. Like, it's really important. Like, there's people hold different views when it comes to these things, and sometimes quite diametrically opposing views. But I think it's important to be able to let another person have an opinion while still being able to talk about your own. And if people can do that, especially within a family situation, well, then you're set up for success, you know. And it is definitely about how you approach somebody. You have to approach them as a friend. You have to approach them warmly. I find that if you set yourself up, as an enemy straight away, just to get an opinion across or a point, well, then you will be dismissed straight away, obviously, because the person will see you as a threat. Also, I'd make the point that it's important to realize that you don't have to continue to make points to members of family. You know, you may believe in something quite strongly, as we do here, that we have quite strong opinions about our country, about our nationhood, about our people, our ethnic right to sovereignty. That, well, these are ideas I hold myself on this channel, but that it's okay to not badger people with those. You know, it's okay to not, you know, like, say your 70-year-old grandmother or your 7-year-old granddad. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. That's cool. But it's also okay not to, is the point I'm going to make. Is that
like if it's Christmas, if it's Halloween, just relate to them. You know what I mean? Relate to your family. Relate to them. Find out what it is they're interested in. You know, bring it up if you feel the need, but don't push it. Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did. Um, True, but care. See the words you use there. You had to choose those words carefully. You had care for your family. You had care for them because you care for them. And so that's the important point to have here is that you don't want to be breaking down relations in your family or breaking down relationships in your community based on um, based on your views. We're going to have different views on things. We can't all have the exact same views because we're not all the exact same people. You know. So yeah. The video I'm going to make tonight is going to be about if I get out to the stream. I can make a video here, of course I can do it, but I want to get out on the bike anyway, get air into my lungs. And hi Philip, how's it going, Philip? Where very good broadcast weather. I'll be on on for chat. If you want Philip Ware National Party? Sure, absolutely. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it later? We could do it now for a bit. I'll figure out how to invite you on. You let me know what you want to do then. Give them time to think change. Exactly. I mean, things are starting to become in people's faces now anyway. Um, they're starting to become obvious. And so people can see for themselves after a while. A lot of people have had their critical thinking dismantled through television, through schools, universities. Like, whereas, hey Martin, how's it going, man? Good to hear from you again. I must give you a shout soon. We go for a coffee. I must put these up on the screen because I keep forgetting. So essentially, I think that yeah, the important point is that it's okay to hold those kind of views. It's okay to be passionate about them, but don't destroy relationships with your family or your community based on those views and those your passion. Because then people are not the same. People are not the same. They're going to hold different views. They're going to feel and think differently about different things, and that is the beauty of being alive. That is the beauty of being different people. We can't all be the same. We're all the same. It would be horrible. I mean, that's diversity. That is true diversity. Is that uh, true diversity is diversity of thought and diversity of identity. Okie dokie. Hang on a second there. Okay, that's just from Martin there. Just leave that on for a second. And Philip wants to come on for a chat, and Philip, I need to get some headphones to put into the mic adapter there as well. So just give me a second, and I'll put in the link while I'm doing that. Let me see. Broadcast info. Anthony chat. Okay, sorry about that. Put on the chat yet. Now I have to figure out how to put it in the chat myself. I have the link. I've just gotten the link. And let me see here. There's private chat. I'll post a comment. I'm going to do that, okay? And you can be coming on while I go and get my headphones. Hang on a second. Right, I've done it. Give me 20 seconds to get those headphones. Cool. All right, so I'm after putting the link for the invite, Philip, into the chat. See how you get on. It's in there now. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how to guess what it guess. Oh, invite a guest. Copy the clipboard. Copied. Done that. Post comment. I'll do that again. And there we go. Okie dokie. Sick in the room. Mark Murphy, good stuff. It's a bit of work this streaming business is, you know. Try it and see. Oh yeah, sure. I mean, like, this is new to me. This is just completely new to me. This format. This format across a mobile phone using StreamYard straight onto YouTube. So all of this is new. When something isn't new, then obviously it comes second nature. But this is not second nature to me at the moment. It is new. I'm just waiting for Philip to sort his out in his setup out there. You guys, anything you want to say? I wanted to talk today about, we say, the distractions in the media. I want to talk about we say distractions in the media used by that seem to go multi media outlet across all of them. The Irish Times, the Echo, Evening Echo in Cork, the Irish Independent, where they put up posts about, we say, Fungie the Dolphin. That was the first thing, and that really, I noticed that all the media outlets at the same time began to put those out. And I believe that it is because it ties into something that all Irish people have a little bit of a quaint feeling about, which is Fungie the Dolphin. And then they said that Fungie the Dolphin went missing. And I think that was meant to tie in a little bit, not much, tying a little bit into our emotions and keep us distracted. But what I think happened after that was they stepped it up. They stepped it up a level, and they stepped it up a level by bringing into the headlines and into public consciousness across the media. Here's Philip now. Across the media with the Chewing Babies thing, and I'll tell you what I think about that when Philip comes on in a minute, if he's okay with talking about that. Okay, Philip at the stream. Hey, Philip.
How's it going?
Good. You're coming across on the audio on the phone now, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get your audio into my headset, my headphones. So keep talking away there. Is there? What do you think of all this media distraction currently? Oh, got it. It's gone in fully there. We just wasn't. The jack wasn't in fully. So
are we good? Yeah. What do I call you, Furion? Do I call you by your first name, or what would I?
I'm going to switch the. I may disappear for a second, Philip.
Okay.
I need to just send the audio coming through from your microphone into my headphones. So I'm just going to go into the audio setting here. Headset, earpiece, speakerphone. Yeah, it should be on that. Okay. Yeah. I'll turn up the volume on this thing, but see how that goes.
Yeah, you remind me of myself there with the technology. You know, I'm brutal at it myself. It takes a while to get used to it.
Technology. It's just this thing is completely new to me. Look, I'm using this little thing, which is like an adapter with the headpiece going into it.
Yeah.
Which is great for the microphone. I've never actually doubly done it with the headpiece at the same time. So this is completely new to me. I'm only hearing you like a mouse's whisper across the actual the what do you call it, the phone. So I don't think it's on your end, Philip. I think it's actually on my end.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah. If you want to chat away, I'll try and pick up on what you're saying.
No, what do I call you? I call you Fury. What do I call Irish Furion, or will I call you by your first name? Or
Furion is fine. People call me Furion online. It's fine. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
With my real identity being out there, I just don't want to make it easy on some people who want to cause trouble to get me. Like I actually
get you 100%.
Platforms like Facebook and stuff like that, everybody in this town and city knows where I stand with things. So like that's not an but it's for the guys in other parts of the country who may want to cause a little bit of a stir. I don't want to make it easy on them, you know.
Yeah, I hear you. But no, just like I said, I'd give you a shout because I've been watching some of your stuff, and you're very interesting. You're very good. You come across really well as a broadcaster, kind of a voice. And I like the things you come out with. And now I haven't a clue about your political views or your party affiliations or anything like that. Everyone probably out there knows now I'm National Party member and candidate or whatever, you know. So I don't know your political views. I'm not, you know, and when I come on,
political.
yeah, and I just think that you deserve to be, you deserve a shout. I just put you up on my Twitter there as well, so I hope somebody on my Twitter sees you as well. But you have a very good, interesting take on things, very balanced, and we need that. But it's real, you know what I mean? You have a real take on things, which is great, you know.
Thing for me is I've had to think long and hard about where I stand on all of this kind of stuff.
Me too.
If I freak people out about being too close to the camera, it's because I'm trying to listen to Philip through the very small sound that's coming through the phone. So I apologize for that, and in the future I'll work it out. But Philip, I've had to really think this through, and I'm long and hard about it. And I think where I fit into the whole thing is I like the truth, and I like the truth because the truth, you can't go forward into the future unless it's based on the truth. And this is why people often hear me talking a lot about morality and about me going on about God and all that again more recently. And I do that because I've been an atheist for 27 years. And all of this has basically, like, technically speaking, logistically, brought me around to thinking that, well, what's the way out of all of this, reasonably, rationally, and technically, if you think it through to its ultimate conclusion? And I really believe the only way we're going to get out of this is through a higher moral order, because the removal of a higher moral order leads us to a state whereby science becomes God, science is created by man, and man can manipulate science, you know? So unless there's some kind of deity or God that we concede our vain human identity to, then we're always going to be manipulated and controlled by man, you know?
Yeah.
I really need to get this bloody audio sorted. What do I do?
Your sound is going to be
what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch out to just a simple headset and mic that comes with mobile phones. I'm going to do away with this.
Yeah, that'd be the best thing I'd say. Yeah.
Give me 30 seconds.
Your sound has gone lower there now. But just guys, anyone who's watching them, I kind of have I've grown to like this guy on YouTube. And it takes a lot of courage to get on and put your face out there and talk. So I'd like to say, everyone, just give him a share and a like.
Do it automatically. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
No, not well. It's low. It's very low. Can you? That's gone all together now. It's completely silent.
How's that?
I can hear you now. I can hear you now, but it's quietish now.
Yeah. Is it still quiet? How's it now? Yeah, it's up to the full there. Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear you, but I can hear you okay.
Okay.
On, say something.
Here's Jeremy Maragini's comment. 0 by 0 by 5.
Say 0 now. It's between 1 and 2.
Hang on a second. I'll go back into the settings, and I'll just try that. Give me a second.
Yeah. I wish I was technical enough to help you.
No worries. Speakerphone default Word headset. Seeing as I've got a guest, then I'm just going to go with. How is that now?
Yeah.
How was that?
It's 2 by 5, maybe 1.5 by 5.
Okay. I went to default in the settings anyway, so I did disregarded wired headset and speakerphone, and I went straight to default. So I'm just letting the system define it for
It's a
as it
bad
is.
omen, Fury, and it's a message from God.
I don't believe in omens. I don't believe in omens at all. Go on.
But yeah, I was just. I can people hear me okay? I wonder if anyone could give us a
really good.
Can you hear me okay?
Sound is perfect, really clear.
Well, you were getting. I think you were getting a bit quieter there as you moved away. I don't know.
Oh yeah. How's it? Oh, sorry.
Hello. No, say something. No, silent. It's gone silent again.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
This is the joys of live broadcasting.
Now, how are we? How's it going now?
That's a bit better. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I think that's coming through the phone now.
Yeah. Yeah. So look, we're talking about the reality and the I suppose the disappearance of reality. People aren't able to they're not able to talk reality anymore. They're not like the normies, you know, like they everything that's been pumped down their necks for the last 20 years is all about distorting reality, you know. And now it's come to a point where it's actually causing, I'm not convinced it's causing like the destruction of society. And morals are gone out the window completely. And there's no moral compass. And I've been having a conversation with a friend of a guy, and he's what you regard as a kind of a normie who regards himself as to be well informed, you know. And it was really kind of draining, you know. And this guy would be shouting about the mothers and babies in Tuam and the septic tank to 800. And I, to be honest with you, I don't know enough, but I'm hearing mixed reports. I mean, I don't know if they ever have discovered a septic tank down there in reality. I don't know. But the same guy will go on and say that he's okay. He voted for abortion, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to say to him, like, how can you be so? You're very concerned about these babies that were thrown into septic tanks. If they were, it's horrific. Okay, and it is. Yeah. And whoever did it needs to be punished. But he's okay with abortion under the guise of women being victims and things like that. You know.
Yeah. I think you're right. You're right exactly, because what people enter into then is a state of cognitive dissonance, whereby they say one thing and they contradict it with another idea. Or they say one idea and they contradict it with another. And it's like they don't stop and do an internal diagnostic and go, hang on a second, and think critically, whereby they go, as you said, okay, so they're really worried about all these babies that were found 300 years ago. I'm being sensational. 300 years ago, where they were found in a septic tank and all the rest. And it's like, but then they might also have voted for abortion, he said, repeal the 8th and all the rest. And what is that? That's also taking the life of an unborn. So, you know, there has to be truth. There has to be an objective truth. But these people are contradicting the objective truth with what I really believe it's that people are being told how to think through the media, through television. They're being brainwashed by the media, by political rhetoric, to actually, and the media, television, to think a certain way. You know,
and it gets to a certain point where it's so ingrained into people's psyches now that they are terrified of thinking any other way. Like, so it's like it is like psychological terrorism being inflicted on people, and you're basically and subconsciously everyone knows who speaks out against the narrative, against the establishment, against these crazy regulations and rules that they're bringing in over really zero evidence, you know, that warrants this kind of draconian action. And exactly. They go along with it, and even though they can watch the destruction of their futures, their children's futures, because that's what we're doing now. We're destroying our children's future, not just your own. I mean, for God's sake, if you're not going to speak out about it for yourself, speak out about it for your kids. You know, shoving masks on kids when no child has died of the virus. And there's so much evidence out there now to the contrary of what they're doing. And people won't look at it. They're terrified to look at it because they're afraid of being ostracized or whatever, you know, losing their jobs. And, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm losing me patience now for the professions like the medical profession and, you know, these people, that the legal profession, even the teachers now, you know. And it's like, you know, when are you going to start? Is it going to happen when our pockets are hit, when the money runs out, when the bank account shows zero? You know, something happens.
I think so, Philip. Yeah, I do think that. Yes.
But it doesn't say much about us as a people if that's what it's going to take, then we can't.
Well, I think it's about time. I think it's about time. I think you've hit a very good nail on the head there. I think you made a very good point. It doesn't say much about us as a nation. It doesn't. But then that has to be said. And I think I think this time of reckoning was coming. I think that I see all of this from a very different point of view, an almost biblical point of view, in the sense that the Irish have been engaged in a particular, like if you look at this from a religious, and I don't mean to, I'm not drawing you into a religious debate or talk or anything here, Philip. I'm just saying it from even just from a philosophical point of view. If you relate it within a certain paradigm or mode of thinking, if you think in terms of, we say, the Irish have fallen too much in love with money, and through the love of money, they have been controlled, and they have now learned that their desire and love for money has drawn them into a state where they are now no better than farm animals that can be controlled. And I think that time of reckoning is now. And it's going to get worse until we learn our lessons, that you can't throw your old people, no matter what your past relationship with them was, you can't offload the effort and labor of looking after the people who went before you to strangers. You can't offload the love and nurturance of your children to strangers. You can't offload, even to this, I would say, you can't offload the growing of your own food anymore. I think what we're going to learn is all these lessons and learn them very quickly and roughly. That being able to reach out and grab your food off shelves is not the natural state of things. That is a system in which you are controlled because the people are feeding you. Certain groups of people who have control of the food supply chain have control of that. And so the love of money has led us down that path. And I think you, in one sentence there, underline that fact, you know?
And we've walked into this like lockstep as a society, like just straight in, blind, to the point now where anybody who's trying to tell the truth, is just demonized, you know, and it's mind-boggling. I'm looking at stuff, and I mean, it's just logic. The logic has gone out the window. Where like they're observing their own destruction. They're actually observing it. Like the business people. I made a video there recently about the business people, the publicans, and the retailers, the hairdressers, or whatever. And there's not a whimper out of them. Like there's none of them marching the streets. Like there's nothing like. You know, the National Party, we had our march there in we were attacked by what would you call it, the unwashed, whatever you want to call them. And but where were the publicans and the thousands of barmen and bar staff, the thousands of retail staff that are closed, the hairdressers, the gym owners, all these people, where are they? What do they think is going to happen here? Like when their businesses remain closed and they're getting shut down on the basis of cases, and very, very few people, unfortunately, are dying. Everyone, you know, knows that death is a tragic thing, but we have deaths from flus and viruses and colds every single winter. Absolutely. And it's not excessive at them. And our hospitals are overrun, and our ICUs are overrun, and our government haven't increased our ICU capacity since February. Like nothing we're talking about anyway. I'm not sure what the exact figures are. You know, and they're keeping the borders open, and it's all bizarre, and it's when people are looking at it and are observing it, and then they're made wear masks that are supposed to save the day as well, that never were used in April, and they're just watching it, and it's like they don't want to believe what's happening in front of their eyes, you know, and I don't know, it's fascinating. I like it. It's demoralizing in one sense, but at the same time, I mean, you have to keep going, and people like yourself or myself or whoever, all the people who are speaking, we have to keep. We have no choice in this. There's no other option, you know.
I think there's a lot of things. There's a lot of pieces of the puzzle, and I keep drawing attention to those pieces of the puzzle. And like I've come to an awful lot of realizations in the last 2 years, year even, about what has led to this. And it is the breakdown of order and the order between the sexes, the order between family members, the order in society, the order between relationship, if you believe in a God, between people and God, the order of men and women in the family and where their roles are. And I think this, like, we've taken so much for granted as normal that we can't understand all of a sudden why we're wearing masks and why we're standing 2 meters apart and why we can't travel more than 5 kilometers past our. I actually think this is all, in a sense, a good thing, because, and I know, like, anybody who wants to actually have at me right now would say, well, you must enjoy seeing people suffer, and anybody like Philip, I'll be honest with you, like my stance on all of this is that I don't believe there's a transmissible virus. I never have. From day one, I haven't. Now, your opinion may differ from that, and many people's do, and that's okay. But I believe that this is about a system of control. I think it is about a completely new reworking of how people are allowed to live together under certain systems in the greater structure of an economic system. And I think once you engage in that system, I suppose, like, the kind of loose colloquial term for that has been the beast system, and as under the umbrella of the World Bank. And I think that when you take those tickets, when you go down that lane, when you go down that line, you a lot goes with that, and a lot comes with that you may not, as you were saying there, people don't seem to see the wood through the trees. They're going to end up, we say, in a place that they hadn't previously thought of, because they were just living, and there's nothing wrong with living in the now, but living in the now also, as you said, which is the real informer. The informer is your children. Is that you need to be really thinking, and not, I would go further. I would say your grandchildren. Like, it was older wisdom to us in the past that we thought in terms of one generation, 2 generations down the line. Now it seems that they can't even think 1 generation down the line, you know?
They can't think a month down the line. And another fascinating thing is that what I've noticed with parents, I mean, I just had this thing in me when my kids were born, and I've got 3 great sons, thank God.
Lovely. Well done.
This is a primal instinct that you have when your children are born. It just comes along that you do everything in your power to protect them and make sure they're okay. That's any normal parent, you know, is supposed to have that. Now I see, like, and these people are sending their children to schools, been made wear face masks, and, like, there's enough evidence out there now to say that these, like, they're inhaling their own bacteria for 8 hours a day. It's going to cause serious health issues down the road. And
absolutely.
Where is the, like, why aren't the parents going in and asking the head, you know, the people, where's the evidence for these masks, and why are you making my kids wear them? Show me exactly all the evidence you have to make that you want to make my child wear a mask for 8 hours a day. And if any damage occurs to my child, I'm holding you responsible, and put it in writing to them and everything else. Or else, I feel now I would take my kids out of school if I had school-going kids now at the moment. That's how I feel about it. It's gone so bad.
I think that would be the right attitude. Yeah, well done. I think you should sing that out loud as we go forward. But that's a very good point you made. So, see, the thing is that all of this system is based on contracts and agreements. And I think that if you say something like, okay, you want my child to wear a mask 8 hours a day, I can do that if you put in writing that my child won't have any deleterious health effects, say 2-3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, and that you will be held responsible for that. If you can do that, that's fine. All I need you to do is put your signature at the bottom of this and say, on the end of the agreement, that my child won't have any deleterious health effects 5 years down the line. Once you hold them to account, and financial account, and to legal account, I think when you play their game, if you actually keep it in the realm of contracts and agreements, I think then you can actually make it difficult for them to push that. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, there will come a day. I'm hoping that these people who are involved in all of this are going to have to be held to account. And this nonsense about the virus is spreading. Now, my thoughts on the virus: I think there is a virus out there. I think it was man-made, and I don't think it's any accident that it's been put out there, and it's been put out there as a weapon. It's been weaponized. And I'm not a medical person, and we all kind of, I suppose everyone here would listen to someone like Dolores Cahill, and you have to, talk about people like Dolores, and what is their motivations for speaking out, as opposed to Tony Holohan and his motivations for what he said, and you decipher the two, and you can see that Holohan is a paid shill for the government, and he's doing what he's saying what he's been paid to say and been told to say, or he wouldn't be in the position. And what he's saying he's basically running the country now, and he's locking down the country, and the evidence just isn't there to warrant it. And it's causing, and they're doing it under the guise of saving lives when they're actually causing deaths. And they know they're causing deaths. I mean, it's just logical. Like, I mean, that the cancer treatments and the people who are, suffering from depression now, and the last week, 8 people through murder, suicide in this country have died in a small little country like this. Now, don't tell me that's to do with just a coincidence or whatever. Like, that statistic is horrendous for any country.
Well, I think this is another. Yeah, I think there's another reason that the media starts putting up these articles on, with, say, Funky the Dolphin and the Tuam Babies Institute and all that. I think they do that to actually take people's minds off of such incidents and such stark truth. I think that they like to do that so that they can guide conscious awareness to where they want it to go and away from where they don't want it to go.
It's so contrived, and I mean, don't even get me started on the mainstream media and the I mean, even if you looked at the ads during the COVID for the last 6 or 7 months, there were so many news items going on about direct provision and asylum seekers. And how we're not looking after asylum seekers when we're supposed to be in the middle of a pandemic, and we're supposed to be in the HSEs in crisis, and the country's in crisis, and it's costing so many billions to get us out of this. And you see the media going on and on about direct asylum seekers that are coming in, which 90% of them are scammers. I don't want to be changing this, but I'm just talking about how contrived they are, and they're just playing on people's good nature all the time. They know exactly what they're doing.
Well, that's all part of a global system. The bringing of people in here who are basically on an economic level, they're being brought in to keep the Ponzi scheme going, which is to have low wage workers and consumers. Like that, I would say there's also somewhere back along the line, there's an ideological and maybe even a religious aspect of this, not of our own. But that aside, I don't know enough about that yet. I will only talk about the economic side of it. And I think the economic side of it is true. And I think it came in, all of this is being brought in under the umbrella of the United Nations, under the Global Compact for Migration. That is something I have researched. That is something I've looked up quite a lot of. And it is actually gives all right to anybody calling themselves a migrant to come to our countries. So all these people, like one of the things I noticed too, Philip, was that after the first lockdown, when they what's the words to use? When they relieved us of the first lockdown, when it stopped, when it ended, I noticed that there was a mass load. It was almost like it was structured. There was an African on every door in the role of security. There were new Pakistani men working behind counters in Costcutters, Spar, Deals, not Deals, Costcutters, Spars, Daybreak, all of these, and they weren't there before. And so all of these people are being brought in under the new rights brought about by the United Nations as signed by Leo Varadkar in Marrakesh in 2018, the Global Compact for Migration. It's a 30-page document. Anybody can go and check it out.
And you know what? Sorry, you know what crossed my mind as well when you look at all this migration and you actually open your eyes and you view it for what it is, and like I keep saying, where I am, I go outside my door here in Tallaght, and you won't hear the English language being spoken. It'll be a rarity to hear it, right? So, but then I've been spending some time down in James's Hospital over the last few months because of when my dad was sick there. But without exaggeration, I'd say 70 to 80% of these people in the hospital that work there are not Irish; they're foreign. And again, I don't want anybody throwing out this bullshit about you hate foreigners and immigrants and all. It's not about that at all. It's demographics.
Not about the individuals. It's about the system.
Yes, and it struck me, right? The point, it struck me that these people in these hospitals and bringing these people from abroad, okay, they won't show dissent about anything. They will just do what they are told. They won't care about the breakdown of Irish society or anything else. They just want to get their wage back at the end of the week and send it on to their relatives or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they're easily ruled and manipulated and told what to do.
Yes.
So in other words, if we have a pandemic, it's a terrible pandemic, and anybody who says otherwise, they know that they're out the door and that these migrants. And if you ever look at them, just when I'm looking at people in the streets, even, and there tends to be a higher proportion of non-nationals wearing the face mask as if they're trying to show the rest of society that, oh, look at me, I'm here now and I'm compliant and I want to be part of this different part of your country.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating at times.
Well, then this is all working in their favor. So like this is all working in the favor of the people doing this, because like I keep making this point in my videos that it's all about inversion. And so like they started off like back in the late 90s, I think it was the late 90s, that, am I right in saying that Obama was in power in the late 90s? I remember Barack Obama.
2008, he came in for 8 years.
Right. Okay. So 2008, I remember seeing Barack Obama standing up on a podium and saying, diversity is our strength, I remember hearing that. Diversity is our strength. And pushing that. And then loads of world leaders began to say the same thing. We know for a fact now that diversity is not our strength. Diversity, so that's an inversion. That's taking reality and it's flipping it on its head, which is how all of this is done. This is how things are done. If you just watch it, you can see it. It's a trick. It's a spell. It's a spell that is to fool people into believing something that is going to work in their favor, but won't in the long run, won't in the end. How can living in a country where multiple languages are spoken by people all around you that you can't understand, how is that a strength? That's an obvious weakness. Everybody needs to be speaking on the first. Yes, it is exactly.
And everything they're doing is causing division. Everything is causing division among ourselves, even. Where we have friends and relatives or whatever who look at you because you're telling the truth, and they say, oh, you're anti this and your opinions, you push your opinions on people, and it's like when you're talking about COVID or whatever, and I say, no, I don't. On this particular thing, I'm not pushing opinions here. I'm just putting out stats and data that are there, and they're even with RTE, but they're talking about them in a way that's making them to terrorize people when they're just our stats that are telling us that this is just an ordinary flu. And any normal person should be able to see that. But then
Mm.
you're being, it's causing division that people are going against you, and and you're losing friends. I'm losing friends. I'm prepared to lose them. I don't care. I'm not going to stop
Yeah.
telling the truth to keep a friend. That's just, sorry, you'll gain more friends by telling the truth and real friends by telling the truth. You'll gather,
Yeah.
I've only met you for the first time here today, Furion. I can
Yeah.
feel it in my bones that like we're going to be pals because we're of the same ilk. We're not afraid to tell the truth about what's going on in the country.
Yeah.
And,
Well, the thing
and
for
what's,
me is the thing for me, Philip, is that if I'm talking to somebody, or if I'm I have a friend, and that person isn't speaking the truth, but believes what they're saying,
yeah,
I won't discount their friendship for that reason, because they believe what they're saying. Um, I know that the minds of many have been worked over for a very long time, and that many different um, approaches and many different tactics have been used, like television, the radio, newspapers have been used against our people, in order to brainwash and condition them. And so I can't hold that personally against the person who I consider a friend. Now, I won't ever have any great in-depth conversations with them about this kind of stuff, because their minds are taken by the overall rhetoric. But I will care for them, and I will enjoy their company, and they may have skills and tasks that can help me, and likewise with them. However, obviously, the people that I would hold closer in friendship would be people who I relish the fact that they can see through the lies, see through the deceit, and actually, and even have a bit of humor about that.
To maintain themselves, to maintain their status quo, they have to lie and cheat, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, those people are wicked. The people who lie and maintain their status quo through lying, knowing that the truth is something else. Those people are what are called wicked. That's wickedness.
And I'll be honest with you, Furion, I'm finding it harder and harder to be diplomatic about it now. The longer this goes on, the more destruction that's happening to our way of life and our society and our culture, our heritage, and everything else. And I'm going to lads, and probably people I know them reasonably well enough to say, where are your balls? Like, just grab your balls, really, and find them, and
that's
acknowledge what's
yeah.
happening to us. And then, and then deal with it. And like, because you will probably be freed by the truth will set you free in a way. So, because it's not a joke anymore. Like, I mean, we have this way in Ireland where we kind of laugh everything. We create a joke about every single thing that happens, no matter what. Right? But this is not a joke anymore.
Yeah,
this is serious. This is people dying.
Yes. So there's when I say having humor in the thing, I mean with friends. I mean having humor in an irreverent kind of way. So like, as in taking the piss out of having to wear a mask, taking the piss. It's a way of dealing with it. But I know what you're saying. I do think it's important that when the true crunch comes, that you don't veer off where you stand on the thing. And as you say, you have a pair of balls and you actually you use them, and you actually say, that's it, I'm standing here, I'm not going back behind this line, this is who I am, this is what I think, I've done that all my life. And that I would expect the same of true friends, people who are true friends. Look at this, I want to show you this. Look, this person's about to leave. I love Banning. I love Banning, man. Are you ready?
Hold on, racists never had friends to begin with. That's why they are full of hate.
Bye-bye.
No, I'm full of love, I'm afraid. I'm full of love.
Bye,
I love my country. I love my kids.
It's so much fun doing that.
What's this? Bo Hermine. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
He's gone. I took him out.
That's an example. I mean, that's an example of someone who's been terrorized into his way of thinking that, and he hasn't opened his mind. He or she or whatever, and looked at both sides of the picture. Like, I mean, what the hell have we said in this stream that's been racist? Like, I could give that person 15 phone numbers of foreigners who I have looked after through my work in property. I've got them jobs, I've got them accommodation, and I've looked after them as regards price. I've never done over anybody like that foreign comes over here and respects this country. And you have this lunacy going on, and they have nothing to offer. And this is a huge part of the problem. How I think the establishment know that they have people in that place now. They've done enough. They've done enough propaganda. They have social media pumping it out. They have, advertising. Every second advertisement you look at is like that, mixed race couples and gaslighting you with we're all racists and we're terrible and we have to fight against racism and everything else. Me or you, if we met someone on the street that was racially abusing anyone, we'd be the first ones to go over and stop it and call them out and tell them to cop themselves on or whatever. But look, it's and in one sense it makes these people easy to deal with as well. They're just idiots, you know what I mean? Useful idiots for the establishment.
Yeah. I personally would think that person was a bot. Was a paid person to be on here, else it was a bot.
Yeah, but I mean, there are real people out there like that. They just hear anything to do with migration, and you're probably right. It could be, but.
So I'm that's an hour in. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Is there anything else you want to say, Philip?
No, well, I was just going to say the same thing. I have to put on the lunch here, the brunch, but no, I think it's you're very interesting to watch. I think you're very good. Get your technology sorted out. Get your sound, and I'm telling you, you're going to go really well at this. I know by it, and you're a very natural speaker. You have a good voice for, as your man said, you have a great voice for radio or a great photo for radio. But no, I mean, keep it up, and I'll support you and I'll push you out there as well. I think we're both, of the same kind of ideology here, where it's just truth. I mean, we just have
I don't have an ideology, Philip.
Some way.
I deny that. I deny that claim. I don't have an ideology.
Okay, well, I mean, an ideology for the truth. I mean, if you don't have that, then we're going to fall out.
Yeah.
I think. So listen, thanks for having me on, and I'll be looking out for you.
Thanks very much, and thanks for coming on.
No bother. Take it easy.
See you. Take care.
Be good. Bye.
Okay, so that's it, really. That was nice of Philip to come on and chat with us. Most I agree with him, and there's some points I wouldn't. By ideology, why I didn't agree with him there at the end when it came to, say, talking about ideology. Ideology to me is, we say, it's a defined set of ideas that you take as a filter and look out onto the world on. Whereas I would say the truth is something that can shift and change. There are immutable truths that don't change. But it's important for the human being to actually see the truth and embody that and react to it and adapt to it and be with it. That's different from an ideology. An ideology is something that is created, structured in the human mind, and then gets projected out onto the world. And then the world reality and the truth has to shift its form to suit and to fit that. And I think that is a different thing. But he may just have got his metaphors mixed up, and that's fine. In relation to the Tune Baby things, I want to make a point about that. On4 was on in the chat there 2 mornings ago, and he was making a very good point that if you go onto CatholicArena.com and if you look up and put in Tune Babies. Now, I've never been on Catholic Arena before. I don't even consider myself a Catholic at this stage. How do I get that off there? Oh yeah, there we go. All right, so I went onto that site and I had a look at what it said about the Tune Babies, and it made a very good point. And the point was that there were no photographs of bones. There were no photographs of burial sites. There was no photograph of a septic tank. There was nothing. The media hasn't provided anything. So I do think that there may have been one or two children. I think what they do with incidences like that is
that gets out to the media, and then the media reports that back to their higher ups. That goes back to statesmen, it goes back to politicians, which goes up to higher ups. And I think what happens is that it then gets used. They are then incentivized and pushed to use that and sensationalize it and magnify it to support a narrative that suits them. And I think that is a particular use of deceit and that I was talking about, and inversions of the truth, subversion of the truth in this case. So I do think that they do that, and what it's being used for at the moment is distraction. I think they don't want us looking at having our inalienable truth taken away from us. And so they need to distract us. They need to take our eyes off where we're looking here, and they want us to look over there. And this, people, has been going on for the longest time. It's, if you know that game with the cups, where you put the ball in under one cup, 3 cups, and you're moving them around, and you're saying, okay, guess where the ball is. Then you're looking and you're looking and you're looking. You can't see the truth, because they're moving the cups around. It's all about games and spells. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All right, that was okay. We'll do it again. All right, take care. Bye for now.